Hey y'all, today I am going to go through a tutorial on how to make some split monograms with a fancy pants design. So I hope y'all enjoy. You can do the same process without a design behind it, and it's a few less steps and still really cool. This is great for like bags and tumblers and towels and anything you can think of. People love the split monogram. And I'm working on alphabet, as you can see by my top row. I'm only on the letter D. And I was like, while I'm doing this, I should probably make a video. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I actually have all my stuff pre-populated. I know what font I'm using. It has to be 860 point for me to get a consistent shape. I have my two little rectangles and my big rectangle, and I show you how that all works. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I already have my design put in the background here. I'm just going to go ahead and take that out for now. And to start, you're going to want to type in your letter. So in our case, we're working with the letter D as in Delta. I know my font is going to be 860 point. I'm going to go ahead and center that to the page. You can achieve that with the transform panel. All right, go ahead and get my design on there. Now, if you're not doing design, you don't have to do these next following steps. I think these look a lot cooler, so this is how I do them. But if you don't like it, then you don't have to. So I try to move the letter around to a point where I'm like, yeah, that looks good. I want that butterfly to show in the top corner, so I'm just going to kind of move it around a little bit until I get what I want. Well, I'll leave it as is. I think you can pretty well tell what it is. And with the design, you can go ahead and select your letter and your design, and you're going to go ahead and click weld. And that's going to weld everything together in one nice little design for you to cut on your machine. And I'm just going to go ahead and make a compound path, and that's just going to create one big old shape. Okay. And the next step, you're going to create a rectangle. All right. So you just go to your shapes over here and create a rectangle and decide how tall you want your rectangle to be. I know mine is going to be 3 inches tall. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And then you're going to want to stretch it. And this part, it doesn't matter how long you stretch it. You just want to make sure it overlaps your design. And then you're going to want to place it where you like it. And this is where your monogram text area is going to go for the split monogram. Probably about right there. Okay, then you're going to select both. You're going to go to your modify panel, which I have nested over here. Your modify panel over here, and you're going to click subtract. That's going to get rid of that. Okay, and then you can do one of two things. You can group, or you can create a compound path. That's up to you. I'm actually going to go back because there's a couple dinky little shapes I'm going to delete. I just kind of leave those out of there because it's going to make it look messy if I don't do that. And then go ahead and group everything together or make a compound path. Whatever your heart desires. So the next step is to get our lines where we want them to be. So again, you're just going to, I use the rectangle tool. Some people use the line tool. I think the rectangle tool is cleaner. That's just my personal preference. But you can also draw thick lines and weld them as well. So I know that I'm working with a 0.163 height. As you can see here, I've already made 2 rectangles. So, and then you're just going to want to figure out what your width is going to be. In my case, is 13, and you're going to want to copy and paste. And then you're going to place them where you want them on the design, and make sure it's overlapping the design elements a little bit because you're going to be welding these lines on. And once you get them where you think they're going to be overlapping, you're just going to want to go ahead and center them so that they're lined up, group them, and you can check and see what it looks like when you center the design on it. And this actually looks pretty good, so I'll probably leave it as is for the sake of consistency. For my part, I'm going to go ahead and use the same okay. And then once you get your lines there and they're where you want them to be, I'm going to see what this looks like centered. No, I like it like this. Then you're going to want to click weld, okay? And once that's done, the weld is actually going to leave you separate your pieces. So what I like to do is I like to group the top, and then I'll go ahead and group the bottom. Because if somebody decides that they want to stretch it so that they have more room for text, they can do that. And then I just go ahead and group those together. And then you can resize as needed to fit your mat. Okay. And then feel free to pick a font that you like. I feel like I'm missing a step, but I'm not. It's just really that quick once you get the hang of it. And if you're not doing the design in the background, it's like super duper quick. So you can use any font you want and add some text in there and just kind of like size it to whatever looks good. And you can center it or just kind of place it where you like it. I think it looks good about right there. And that's it. I mean, it's pretty simple. I think it's neat. It's different. You can do it with or without designs. Just make sure, please make sure, when you're using your fonts that you have the correct licensing to do so. Times New Roman is just an open font. A lot of the times, if you're adding a design to it, like I have, you can't abstract the font from it. So designers generally don't mind if you're doing something like this. But it's always common courtesy to reach out to your font designers and say, hey, I would really like to work on a split monogram, and send them a few samples and say, hey, this is kind of what it's going to look like with your font. Is this okay? And is this allowed? Because you really don't want to be infringing on their design work. I've really been trying to educate the masses on this, especially when you're just starting out. Now, if you're just creating, one letter and whatever for your own personal use, you don't have to worry about all that. But if you're creating a design to be put for resale, then you definitely want to make sure you're covering your bases, because the last thing you need is an infringement notice or some sort of legal action taken against you for the infringement. I hope you guys got a lot out of this video. I'm planning on doing more of these advanced tutorials in Silhouette Studio. I see so many of the beginner tutorials. I'm like, I don't want to waste my time with all that. So I'm going to put this up on my blog shortly. I did a walkthrough of the letter B, Bravo, with screenshots. So I'll have that up on the blog as well if you don't want to watch the video, which you're not going to see that anyway if you're not watching the video. So I don't know why I just said that. And just hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed this. That way you can stay up to date with the new things I'm doing. And you can also go and join my Facebook group. You can find me by Shooting Star SVG Sierra. I just forgot what the letter V is. Victor Golf. And I hope everybody has a great night.